Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Eric Meslin. I will be the moderator of this session, Geopolitics of Horizon Association from Proximity to Global. I'm the president and CEO of the Council of Canadian Academies here in Ottawa in Canada. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to this session and to welcome you to the panel discussion, which I hope will be both very interesting and very informative. Our plan today is to have 4 panelists speak about these issues. We will give them each about 3 minutes. There'll be an opportunity for questions, an opportunity for discussion, and we will conclude in about 45 minutes. I would like to introduce all 4 of the panelists first, and then we will go to our first presentation. The first panelist is Dr. Sanja Damjanovic, Minister of Science of Montenegro. The second panelist is Mr. Mehmet Kasir, whose name did not appear on your original schedule, who is the Deputy Minister for Industry and Technology in Turkey. The third panelist is Dr. Mikhail Chikumkelli, Minister of Education, Science, Culture, and Sport in Georgia. And the fourth panelist is Mr. Daniel Dufour, Acting Director General, Science Policy Branch of the Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Economic Development in Canada. I'm delighted to have all 4 of my colleagues joining us for this important discussion. I'm going to now turn the program over to Minister Damjanovic for remarks. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to participate in this session of the R&I Days. Montenegro is part of the Western Balkans, which is a large and integral part of Europe, but needs support to develop its sustainable economy. We very much appreciate the fact that this region is a strategic priority for the European Commission. I would like to remind you that in the past, the region of the Western Balkan had a strong period of technological development. And there are many great examples, e.g. ex-Yugoslavia was one of the founding members of CEN in Geneva in 1954. However, due to recent history, the war in the 1990s, all scientific and economic activities very much slowed down. As a consequence, our region ever since suffered from a strong brain drain, mostly of the young generation, which is one of our largest economic loss. Thus, a large gap has been created between our region and Western Europe. However, thanks to the association of Montenegro and all other Western Balkan countries to the EU framework programs, this gap has now stopped to increase further. Indeed, the association has shown to be a strong instrument of developing our national strategies. We are proud that Montenegro is the first candidate EU country which adopted the smart specialization strategy for smart economic growth. All our strategic priorities and policies are now in line with the European Green Deal roadmap set up by the President von der Leyen. We now clearly see transformation of Montenegro. For example, in connection with energy, Montenegro is becoming a regional green energy hub. With a large project of a submarine electrical cable constructed between Montenegro and Italy with more than 450 kilometers, investment of €1 billion, with the largest solar power plant in the region currently under construction, between many wind power plants, we are proud that Montenegro is visibly contributing to make Europe the first climate neutral continent by 2050. Definitely, the association is a strong instrument of connecting the Western Balkans with the EU. The association, coupled with sharing excellence, can help to bridge the remaining research innovation gap between Eastern and Western Europe. The most effective way to do that and to slow down brain drain or even to revert it is to create a strong pole of excellence in the region, a large-scale competitive research infrastructure based on the newest technologies. And we are going in that direction, and I will come to that in the second round. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. We appreciate your remarks very much. Before we go to questions, I offer my apologies for a slight adjustment. There was to be a video presented before our session started, and it was not clear to me if it was available. I've been told that the video is now available. So with your permission, colleagues on the panel, I'm going to ask them to run the video now, and then we'll come back, Minister, to some questions for you and then continue the panel. Thank you very much.
Your country copes with many challenges. Now you can manage those challenges better through the power of global unity in association with European countries. Discover the enormous potential of the new EU Research and Innovation Programme, Horizon Europe, which is investing about 100 billion euros in research and innovation. Now you can be a part of the world's largest collaboration programme. Contribute to a global pool of investments and resources and tackle global challenges such as climate change, food security, water scarcity, cybercrime, clean energy, and infectious diseases. Like the project to tackle the world's viruses, EU research and innovation funding empowers urgent research into Ebola, Zika, MERS, and of course COVID-19 for the benefit of humanity. Get access to the world's leading infrastructures for research and innovation, such as the colossal project aimed at connecting research and education across Europe and beyond. Strengthen your country's economy and society through ever-growing multipolar systems, like when countering extreme and violent radicalization through innovation and new technologies. Participate in joint science and research facilities and enjoy limitless global co-creation with the best of science in Europe and beyond. As when aiding Europe in the fight against iodine deficiency. Create strong political alliances and participate in global research with like-minded countries. Share and receive research ideas through protected and safe channels. You should not miss out on the opportunity to take your collaboration with the EU on research and innovation to the next level and become an associated country. Join the new European Programme for Research and Innovation. Join Horizon Europe.
What, in your opinion, is the biggest challenge that is facing the scientific community in your country at this time? What is Montenegro facing that is the most pressing scientific challenge?
As I mentioned, Montenegro is one of the smallest country in Europe. And for us, international cooperation is the must. I think this is must for any other country. And as I mentioned, this gap which is remaining between our part of the region and the Western Europe can be bridged in the best way if you establish a large-scale research infrastructure. And if you can give me some time in the next round, I will tell you about that. And I think this will be the best way to really get this part of Europe, Western Balkan, close to the rest of the Europe.
I thank you very much. You will have time in the next round, I promise. I'd now like to turn to Mr. Kassir, who has agreed to speak on behalf of Turkey. He, of course, is the Deputy Minister for Industry and Technology. Welcome, and please begin, sir.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Eric Meslin, dear valuable ministers, Ms. Demjanovic and Mr. Chikumkelli, Director General Mr. Darfur, distinguished guests. It's a pleasure to greet you as the Deputy Minister of Industry and Technology of Turkey and join the R&I Days through the theme Geopolitics of Horizon Association from Proximity to Global. Grand challenges and societal problems, as well as health emergencies such as COVID-19, have shown the importance of R&D and innovation as emphasized in this important event. The scope of the grand challenge has also increased collaboration opportunities from only proximity to a global effort through R&D-based collaboration. From its early years onwards, the Turkish research area, TARAL, was formulated in consideration of global trends, including the latest European science, technology, and innovation policy perspectives. The European STI policy objectives and processes shed light to the Turkish research area principles. European research area priorities are complementary to TARAL's functions at various levels and capacities from policy design to implementation. Our target set for the 2023, based on the industry and technology strategy, is also very clear. We will make our country one of the world's leading production and technology bases. With an ecosystem that increases our global competitiveness, strengthens our economic and technological strength, provides value-added production, and makes breakthrough in critical technologies, we carry out our national technology move with all of our strength. Honorable guests, recently, measures taken towards reforming the research and innovation system has gained greater momentum in our country. Collaboration between EU and Turkey through integration into the European research area and enhanced participation in EU framework programs are the core components of this new vision. For this reason, since 2018, we have focused on impact-oriented processes that are directed to providing solutions based on co-creation models with the interactive strengthening and involvement of qualified knowledge and qualified human resources. Convergence to ERA priorities is and will be of utmost importance in the research and innovation agenda within the context of the new momentum in our country. Within this new strategic approach, we have established co-creation models that bring together all stakeholders of the ecosystem in impact-oriented processes. The scope of this approach further represents the pillars of Horizon Europe, from excellence and challenge to innovation. A closer linkage among ERA and TARAL is vital to ensure that research systems in Turkey and the EU can jointly address societal challenges and contribute to lasting economic growth and competitiveness. In this respect, EU framework programs play a vital role to facilitate the alignment of ERA and TARAL to support joint research efforts, to increase researchers' mobility, and to develop long-lasting partnerships among researchers. Turkey has been associated to the EU research framework programs since 2003. Under Horizon 2020 up to now, 1,063 participations from Turkish public and private institutions in some 731 projects received nearly 256 million euros in EU funding. Turkish stakeholders have been steadily successful in the program, in the process leading to Horizon Europe. Coming to end of the program in this year, we expect that they will have received almost more grants under 2020 calls than our national association yearly fee to the program for the first time ever. Moreover, Taral researchers and companies have started broadcasting their EU projects on social media and other platforms, increasing the visibility of Horizon 2020. It's clear that EU framework programs are being adopted more and more in the ecosystem and is worn as a badge of pride. Dear guests, 11th Development Plan lays down the development vision of our country with a long-term perspective and will serve as a basic roadmap in meeting the fundamental values and expectations of our nation. The pillars of the plan converge with the Commission's priorities for 2019 to 2024. The 11th Development Plan calls for an economic and social development process that would boost the productivity of our country in all fields and help us create more value to achieve greater competitiveness at the international level through a breakthrough in technology. During the term of the 11th Development Plan, the achievements of our country in economic and social fields will be utilized at the maximum level. The position of our country in becoming a prestigious member of international community is strengthened and maintained through active diplomacy and effective policies will continue to be produced for the solution of global and regional problems. In these ways and others, we look forward to sharing of experiences within ERA and internationally while we continue to undertake the grand challenge together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Kassir. I will ask the same question of you for this round that I asked Minister Damjanovic before. Could you maybe summarize, although your presentation was quite excellent, perhaps the single most significant challenge that your scientific community is facing?
Thank you. As we have been promoting in the national technology move of our country, emerging critical technologies are providing multiple highly valuable opportunities for advancing productivity in industrial sectors. And during this integration, including the integration of artificial intelligence, needs to be done in a human-centric and ethical manner. For this reason, we can see that while emerging technologies provide multiple opportunities for technological advancement, and the challenge is the ability to realize the opportunities in a well-rounded way, including the human-centric and ethics perspectives. It is not only the technological target, but also the process and decisions that are taken to reach the technological target that matters. I think as a global community and as European community, in these areas, we have to collaborate and work together.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kassir. We appreciate those remarks. I would now like to turn to Dr. Mikhail Chikumkelli, who is the Minister of Education, Science, Culture, and Sport in Georgia. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dear honorable colleagues, it is my pleasure and honor to join you at the European Research and Innovation Days, which is indeed a flagship event that provides a platform for debates on the future of research and innovation, not only in Europe, but beyond its borders. Association of Georgia into EU framework program for research and innovation is an integral part of Georgia's aspiration towards deeper political integration of the country into the European Union. I can say with confidence that Georgia's association to EU framework program is the central piece for the entire strategy for strengthening science, technology, and innovation system in Georgia. Horizon 2020 program, with its ample funding opportunities in all scientific areas, has enabled Georgian scientists and academic institutions to improve the quality of scientific research, enhance research capacity, unlock scientific potential, and cultivate innovative, collaboration-driven, and entrepreneurial culture in my country. I would like to emphasize that prevalence of all of these features in Georgia's STI landscape will have far-reaching geopolitical implications for Georgia's westward road leading towards Euro-Atlantic integration. I'm proud to stress that the government of Georgia has declared education and science development a top priority, which was translated into the governmental pledge to increase gradually the public funding of education, reaching up to 6% of GDP by 2022. The legislative change ensures that the commitment to fund education is honored and upheld by the future governments and its legally binding nature. Definitely, modernization and internationalization of science, technology, and innovation is vital for creating new knowledge and promoting sustainable development and economic well-being. Cooperation with the world scientific community is a prerequisite and integral component for success in achieving high-quality results. In this regard, it has been an excellent opportunity for my country to be associated with the EU Research and Innovation 8th Framework Program Horizon 2020 since 2016. Which has opened up unique possibilities for the Georgian academic and innovative community to collaborate with EU's leading research institutions, develop new scientific ideas, and train academic staff. The Horizon 2020 Association has enabled us to benefit from high-quality European R&I expertise, which has been paramount in diagnosing STI system, and today, Horizon 2020 Policy Support Facility recommendations guide us on the way towards addressing the challenges. Furthermore, association to Horizon 2020 has given us excellent opportunity to host outstanding scientists at all stages of their research career. We aspire to make Georgia as a key destination for outstanding researchers who desire of making cutting-edge scientific discoveries. In this light, the establishment of Kutaisi International University is a quantum leap in the direction of internationalization of higher education and science. Operation of the Hadron Therapy Center at the Kutaisi International University will lay solid foundation to advanced treatment of oncology diseases, as well as modern research in the fields of medicine and nuclear physics, with collaboration between Georgian and international researchers. With the strong perception of the importance of sharing global knowledge and innovation, desire to make available knowledge accumulated in the science, technology, and innovation system in the world, and the system to engage in important innovative centers and markets of the world, we acknowledge that engaging in the next framework program for research and innovation, Horizon Europe, will be the possibility of immense importance and far-reaching impact. Becoming part of the most ambitious Horizon Europe program aimed at boosting scientific, economic, social impact of EU funding and investing in shaping Europe's future through research and innovation will become instrumental in addressing grand social challenges and implementing innovative missions with long-term impact targeted at improving individuals' lives and ensuring sustainable development of the country at large. In conclusion, let me reiterate sincere gratitude to the European Commission for the long-lasting support and fruitful cooperation, for the opportunities given, and for the commitment to the future development in these challenging times. I am strongly convinced that science and technology are and will always be essential drivers of progress for the European Union and partners. Thank you so much.
Minister Chikumkelli, thank you very much for your remarks. I'm going to make another suggestion so that we have enough time for full questions. And rather than ask you the same question I asked your two colleagues, I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. Dufour to give his 3-minute remarks. I believe he has some slides that will be put up and that we will have to advance fairly quickly. But my friends, we will have time for questions that we have also received from the online audience, and there will be an opportunity for a final statement. So with your permission, I'll turn to Mr. Dufour to give his remarks, and then we will come back for some other questions. Thank you very much.
Hi to all, bonjour à tous et à toutes. It's a sincere pleasure to be here with distinguished panelists and my Canadian colleague, Dr. Meslin, as moderator. So my name is Daniel Dufour, and I'm here in my capacity as a policymaker with the Department of Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. Among my responsibilities, I'm responsible for international partnerships, particularly in the science and research space. So very happy to be here. Next slide, please. Just have a few slides to go through. Next one. I hope you have the right version. Next slide, please. Okay. Okay, I'll go from there. So what I want to say, I guess, the first thing I wanted to say is about the Canadian ecosystem. So tell you a bit about the Canadian art and innovation system. So I think it's fair to say that Canada has a relatively decentralized S&T system. As such, we have multiple government levels and various type of institutions across our system. And the country, we have very well established research and innovation strengths in areas like Arctic science, ocean technologies, quantum computing, astronomy, and a few others. It's going to vary significantly from one region to the next across the country. So the first point I wanted to get across this morning is probably that when engaging internationally with countries like Canada, it's also important to appreciate jurisdictional and regional complexities of the country. It's often not quite as straightforward as one would think. So geopolitics are at work both, globally, but also domestically. So customized approach in terms of our engagement is certainly a preferred way to proceed, I think, when wanting to build strong international partnership. The slide that you have now in front of you is to the point of where we stand as a country, Canada, in terms of how we value international S&T collaboration. So we think international S&T collaboration is key for a lot of the similar reasons of a lot of like-minded countries that are here today. So achieve better research excellence, get more stronger IP patents, increasing the talent, increasing diversity, which is essential. Stronger supply chains, and just the simple fact that the global challenges absolutely require global responses. So you'll see that it will come as no surprise that Canada is well positioned when it comes to, for instance, international science publications, as illustrated in this graph. So we're it's pretty strong, and we're well integrated with top R&D performers, and we certainly anticipate that's going to remain the case, and if anything, we'll get even strengthened than that. Next slide, please. Okay, I'll go to the next. Just have a different version, and I don't know why my face is that dark. Okay, next one, please. Okay, so going forward, I guess my last slide really is what we, going forward, we think that obviously international S&T collaboration is more critical now than ever, and we really look forward to stronger engagement with countries that have strong science and innovation base, and critically share similar values. So what will define our level of engagement as a country, in terms of international partnerships, will be based on, of course, the anticipated impact of that collaboration, but also strong alignment between our own national priorities and our values. So I can just name a few for Canada. It has to be green, sustainable, has to be digitally empowered, encouraging diversity, inclusion, and trust within the society. So I think these are all values certainly that are shared with with the EU, and that's partly why we so strongly, value our partnerships that we've had under Horizon 2020 in particular, and we're extremely keen to see, this being strengthened going forward under Horizon Europe. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Dr. Meslin.
Merci, Monsieur Dufour. Merci, thank you, everyone, particularly for having such detailed information in such a short amount of time. We have about 10 minutes left, and I propose the following. There are a couple of questions that have come in from the audience. Here is the first question. Would countries around the world be allowed to participate? Do they have to contribute financially? As you look at that question, I will ask for a volunteer. I would not want to put someone on the spot to answer it. But if you have a perspective on the contributions that individual countries would have to make, I would be grateful. Perhaps I might, if it's possible, to ask either Minister Damjanovic or Minister Chikumkelli from their perspective what the contribution might be. And there will be another question we would put up, and of course you'll have your time for closing statements. Is it possible to have a response for that about contributions? And if this is a question that you would need more information, I can address a next one, and without, as I say, putting people on the spot. Let's turn to a different one because our time is short. Could you say a bit about, and again, I would address this perhaps to Minister Damjanovic, about the access that European countries would have to your country's infrastructure and the kind of access you might wish to have to other countries' infrastructure in the context of collaboration?
If you give me these next 3 minutes, I would prefer, and then I will answer, I think. You give me now.
Please take 1 minute.
It would be much more fruitful discussion. Sorry?
Please, you're welcome to give a brief response if you like.
Okay, fine. So I said we are very proud that we participate in association. Our contribution to association is calculated proportional to the GDP of the countries. But what we are now getting from association is much larger to that. And in the second round, I will tell you that Montenegro initiated a large-scale pan-European research infrastructure, and we now have a really large spectrum of all kinds of calls to use from the association. I think the gain is much larger than if you think just about single contribution. I can tell you also, I myself, Minister of Science, but I have past experience of 20 years working at CERN in Geneva, where you have practically 120 nations participating and you have the budget of CERN. I think this international cooperation is something which gives you much, much higher value if you only think about contribution. And I can also now conclude that Montenegro at the beginning, we had difficulties to be competitive because this is competitive call. You cannot do alone, you need to be part of the network. But now we are very proud. We are managing to return all what we invest, all our contribution which we invest for association, we are able to absorb. So this is in short.
Thank you very much. We're coming close, unfortunately, to our time. There's about 4 minutes left. I'm actually going to ask Minister Chikumkelli, because I did not give him an opportunity to respond. Could you offer your view on that issue of collaboration and infrastructure sharing? I think it's an important point that Minister Damjanovic just raised.
Absolutely. Thank you for this opportunity. I would like to stress the importance of sharing our resources. In general, our philosophy is, and I believe it's an objective reality, that science and innovation has no borders. It's a property and it belongs to entire humankind. So therefore, as far as sharing the infrastructure-wise, sharing the intellectual resources, our findings, of course, our country will be very much participating in this direction. And we have this philosophy, we follow this philosophy because it yields results. And therefore, we very much welcome visitors from EU, the top scientists at every level to participate in the joint projects, and infrastructure sharing wise, this is going to be absolutely the key. The specific example that I want to mention right now is what I mentioned in my presentation, the Hadron Therapy Center at in Kutaisi International University. There, it is absolutely vital that participation from all over the world is going to be the key strategic direction, because there's going to be 2 cyclotrons at the Hadron Therapy Center. As you know, this is a cutting edge of treating cancer. One of them will be dedicated to treating cancer, and another one is going to be purely for research purposes. Now, this is a unique situation. Most of the similar centers don't have that, don't have a dedicated cyclotron just for research purposes, and therefore people have to wait. Researchers, I mean, have to wait when the cyclotron is available after the treatment procedures to do scientific experiments. And so we have been in touch with the leading scientists in this direction from all over Europe, and they're very eager to participate in experiments done in Georgia.
Thank you very much. I've been told we have very little time. I'm actually going to give Mehmet Kasir a quick final comment, and Dan Dufour a quick final comment. Please be very brief, and my apologies that it has gone so quickly. Mr. Kasir, maybe a brief remark to close?
Okay, thank you very much again. Actually, I think that the philosophy of working and creating together is proved to be an efficient and effective way of tackling key global challenges and regional challenge by joint efforts. And framework program ecosystem is a unique example of getting together towards common priorities by aligning national and EU strategic R&I agendas. And only if we can get together for innovation and growth will come.
Thank you very much. Dan, I don't know if you can speak over the Academy Awards.